Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Farming Simulator 17, and welcome back once again to Coldborough Park Farm. I've been checking on the Giants mod hub, I've been checking on some of the dodgy mod sites, and I have to say, there really is not a ton of mod content for FS19 so far. I'm sort of, I don't know, perplexed. It's been, what, 4 months? Came out end of November, so, okay, 2 months. Like 2 months, 4 months, it's all the same. Wait, was it the end of November? Was it the end of October? I want to say it was the end of November, right around Thanksgiving in the US. So that would be all of December, all of January, at least 2 months. I don't know. I just feel like there's not a ton of content. Let's throw this canola in the silo, and then we'll come back and we'll keep cracking away at field 7. This thing is at 90%. May as well empty it, right? Brake is off. Here we go. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised by the lack of, or the apparent lack of mod content. It seems like there aren't as many mods for FS19 2 months in as there were for FS17. I could be wrong. I've certainly been wrong before, but it seems that way. I'm curious, and I'm curious what could be the possible causes of that, if it's even happening. Oh, come on, TW, come on. Get up there. Get up there. Come on. All right, we're gonna need to take a run at it. All right, so let's get her in reverse and get turned around here. Can we get a run at it? There we go. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I need a lower gear. There we go. Come on, gearbox. Come on, TW. We got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. There we go. So I'm curious of what the cause of that could be, assuming that it's even the case. Like I said, could be wrong. But I don't know if it is some of the new things that they did for FS19, or if maybe people are just gaming differently, and FS19 is, you know what I mean? Things change, things evolve in the world. So who knows? I don't have an answer at the moment, but I know I'm more comfortable and happier in FS17 than I was in 19, and I want to say that could be the first time that's ever happened to me in a game. Could be the first time in a franchise that I've ever gotten on the new one and just not really cared for it. Right, so let's dump this out. And I think we may, I don't think we're at capacity for our silo yet. Our capacity is 100,000 liters. And I want to say with this, we're going to have about 60 in there. And yes, I do have to be careful not to slam my tipper into the top of the shed. Right. In fact, while that's heading back down, why don't we take a look? We're at 67,000 liters, so we'll be able to put at least one more of these in there, possibly two, and we'll go from there. So yeah, I'm curious, but 17 is working. I don't know, it's hard to explain, and I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to say sometimes, because gaming is so subjective. You know, what I like may not be what other people like. And I think there are other times where developers just get it wrong. You know, they don't know what their audience wants, or sometimes they don't even understand what their audience is or who their audience is. And that's something, you know, working in marketing. We've got this space now because we've taken off some headlands, so I can actually move this down here off the grass verge. working in marketing and communications, I do work with clients who, I have to say, they really don't know who their audience is, who their target market is, their demographic. They just don't know, and so they do things that hurt their business, and they don't realize that the people that want to buy their product, that sort of turns them off. They don't like that. So it goes. All right. So let's lift our header up and nope. No. There we go. How do we want to do this? Let's go down one time and then come back up. Yeah, let's try that. Right. Cruise control on. Here we go. I do like this. I do like this mod, and I especially like it with the Ludmilla Power, I believe Ludmilla Power sound pack. Oh, it's fantastic. Love it. So, yep, I said I was going to do some things differently on the channel starting the new year. It is the new year, and one of the things that I'm doing is I'm spending more time on each evolution, I guess. I am skipping ahead. I skipped ahead on Domus Laskowitz from day 1 to day 4 off camera, and I may do the same thing here. I know we skipped ahead after we got everything seeded and did our grass work. We skipped ahead to harvest, but then within an evolution, maybe spending a little bit more time. I don't know. I'm just trying some new things. On the one hand, I feel like this is kind of a critical time for the channel. I really don't want to mess anything up and lose the small audience that I've built, but at the same time, it's almost like now is the best time to take chances because there's a lot less to lose. If that makes sense. Not that I don't value all of you, and not that I don't appreciate you coming to check out the channel, but you know what I'm saying. Well, like I was just saying about marketing and communications, sometimes you do things and the people that were your customers, the people that were your audience, you lose them, and it could be that you sort of guessed wrong, or just made an honest mistake, or it could be that you were kind of being a jerk, I guess. Good way to say it. And you lose your audience. So I don't want to do that, but I feel like this is a good time, like I said, to take some chances and experiment with some things. Get backed up here. I do love this sim. I don't understand it. It's goofy, but I love it, man. Something about it. Something about farming just really works for me. Right. Let's hop in cab, as we've been doing. And we'll head up this, I guess it's not really a headland anymore. I guess this is a proper length. We'll head up this length and across the top. And I think, let's risk a little side hill. Because we're going to have to at some point. I mean, we could just keep going roundy. But I would prefer to do some lengths. So let's try, well, the top of this length after we sort of turn, what's our direction right now? Approximately west. A little south of west. So as we turn toward almost proper south, we are going to be on a side hill. So let's see how it goes to head across there and then come back. If we can do that just a couple times, we'll almost be past the worst of it. So let's see if that's a thing that we can do. Yeah, never would have thought. Never would have thought years ago when I was into gaming. Never would have thought that there was that there was a farming simulator. And even if I did know about such a thing, I would not have thought that it would hold my attention the way this has. It's really been a very cool thing. And I'm going to lift just for a second, literally like just for a second, to try to even out that little curve right there. Now, I'm told by real farmers that you don't want to make really radical swings with your combine harvester because the, what are they called? Splitters? Ends? I don't know. If you make too radical a turn through the crop, you have one side of your header moving kind of significantly faster and at the wrong angle relative to the crop. Rather than pushing straight into it, it's sort of sliding across it. And then you have your inside corner barely moving at all. And I know they were saying I know they were saying it damages the crop, but I think they also said if it's a heavy enough crop and if it's damp at all, you can actually damage the equipment trying to jam the crop through at the wrong angle. Because this equipment, I mean, it's industrial equipment. We call it agricultural equipment, but it's agricultural usage, but the actual like structure and strength of the equipment, it's industrial equipment. It really is. So it seems, how could you possibly break it? But everything is fragile if you do the wrong thing to it. You can break a tank. Not a tank like a tank you put water in, a tank like an armored personnel carrier. You can break anything. You can break a hammer. So I guess what they were saying is you can do things in farm sim that you can't do in real life, and you can do it with no consequence. I mean, obviously you can. It's not 100% realistic. But I guess that's one of the things that you don't want to do is come across your crop at too steep an angle. So try to be aware of that. I don't know. I try. It's a game. I have fun with it, but I do try to be aware of it. Right. So we're gonna back up. Yep, that's that very, very steepest part of the hill right there. Now we're backing up okay. We'd be geared a little bit lower in reverse than we would in forward gears, but we did all right there. I just did not want to come up there multiple times. Plus, it's also a pretty short length. If we would not want this little section right here to be a length because it's so short. Too many turns. Right. Header back down. Hop in cab. And this, like, looking straight out the windscreen right now, you can see that is the side hill that I've been trying to avoid. But we're going to risk it one time. Let's see how we do. Now, if it does work, we only need to do this a couple of times and we'll be off the steepest part of the side hill. And then we can just do our regular lengths. Yeah, man. Every episode, I'll say it, kudos to Bullet Bill for making maps that are, I mean, they just look pretty right out of the gate. You look at them, they just look nice. And then you play them and they're immersive and you get a nice feeling for being in the country. And then you play them a little bit more and it's like, damn, this is a tricky map. So definitely digging it. Now, I saw on the Giants Mod Hub, I did see a mod from Realismus Modding, but I guess I'd call it like a lesser mod. It didn't do anything really super significant. Certainly wasn't anything like Seasons, but it was Realismus Modding. And I'm curious. I mean, I guess they're still a thing, but I know, at least I think I know, that their lead programmer works for Giants now, which led a lot of people to believe that Seasons was going to be a thing, that he had been brought in to like make sure that Seasons was part of 19, and then it wasn't. So who knows what he's doing there? Maybe just being a coder. And who knows? Really, maybe that was the goal all along. Maybe all Seasons ever was like an application. Save game. Maybe that was just an application, Maybe that was just here's what I can do for you for free. Why don't you hire me and I'll do stuff like this for realsies. But for me personally, it was a huge disappointment because I couldn't imagine what reason there would be to bring him on board if not to have Seasons or something like it. And then that just didn't happen. So it goes, So it goes. I have been spending time in some shooters. I'm not going to bring them to the channel, but I've been spending time in shooters, and I have to say that the gaming landscape right now is so competitive that that's got to be grueling for a developer, to be working in this space. Now, As far as competition in the farming simulator space, there were a few. There were a few the past year and a half. Farmers Dynasty, Pure Farming, and then Cattle and Crops, of course. And I feel like none of those really were going directly at the farming simulator franchise market. You know, they were all a little bit different, and that could be because that's what the developer of those sims, like, that was their vision, that was their goal. You know, it just happened to be something that had nothing to do really with the farming simulator model. Or it could be they were, you know, not looking to compete, as you do sometimes. You know, I don't want to go straight at a behemoth. I'll go at a slightly different area of the marketplace, so I'm not competing with the big dog. Who knows? But they certainly were not. I don't want to say they were nothing like. Farmers Dynasty was kind of weird with the you know, the RPG sort of storytelling mode. You have to, you know, make friends and do favors and try to find a spouse. That was, I don't know. That didn't really do it for me, not in any way. And I want to say that was Farmers Dynasty. And then Pure Farming, I have to admit, was a little bit more like Farming Simulator, but I felt like it was a lot more linear, you know, in that there were a lot of things that you had to do a certain way at certain times. To be fair, it was a newer game, and maybe some of that was almost like a tutorial aspect, where they were kind of, you know, guiding you to very specific activities because they were trying to teach you how to play the game. Maybe? I don't know. But like I said, neither one of those really seemed like they were going straight at farm sim. And then Cattle and Crops does seem like it's going straight at farm sim, but, and I say this very often as well, I don't think that game is ever going to be done, and when it is, it's going to be obsolete the day it's released. It's going to look and play like an old game. I feel bad. I feel bad about the $100 I invested that I'll never get back, but, you know, so it goes. What was I reading about yesterday? Ghost Recon Wildlands took 3 years to make. Red Dead Redemption took 5 years to make. You know, and I think, and having been involved in some project management in my time, I can tell you one of the scariest things about a protracted timeline like that, one of the scariest things is the world is changing around you. 5 years. God, think where gaming was 5 years ago, right? And you're making a game. Now, there's a couple reasons I guess a game could take 5 years to make. And one is, you know it's going to take 5 years to make, and you're planning for that, which means you're adjusting for things like technology and graphics cards are going to change, right? Like, you know, when you're beginning to build this game, that over the next 5 years, we are going to be seeing new graphics cards, and we're going to be making changes, planned changes, structured changes. We're going to be making changes to the game as we see what those graphics cards are. And we're allowing for that. We're anticipating that. I think the other way is, you think the game is going to take 2 years to develop, and it ends up taking 5 years. And when that happens, now it's like, oh shit, there weren't going to be really radical changes in graphics cards in 2 years, but 5 years in the time of technology that we're in right now, 5 years is a lot longer than 2 years. So at that point, it's like, oh, you know, we didn't think we would need to change the game mid-course to adapt to new technology, but we are going to have to. So I feel, you know, a studio like Rockstar made Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, they made all the Red Dead Redemption, but we're talking specifically about RDR2. But, you know, a studio like Rockstar, they're no joke. I mean, they are, from one perspective, they're it, man. They built and sold the most successful, most profitable video game ever. You know, they are the Beatles. They are, you know, that whatever example you want to use, they're it. And and if there's any studio that could either anticipate problems like that, and be planning for them from the beginning, or encounter problems like that and be able to adjust for it, it's Rockstar. And I don't own Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not a huge Rockstar fan. I've never owned a GTA game. Played them, but never really owned them. But I'm not a fanboy by any means. I'm not like saying they are, you know, the latest and greatest or whatever. It's just an example. But I feel a studio like that could deal with those problems. I don't know that a studio like, is it Master Brains, Master Bytes? I want to say it was Master Bytes. Hey, I see you guys are being cute. It was Master Bytes, and then I think it became Master Brains, something Master Brain Bytes. I don't know. I don't know that a bunch of guys trying to scrounge up money on Kickstarter and selling early access, I don't know that they can deal with problems like those sorts of delays. I don't know if they can deal with problems as well as a studio like Rockstar or Bethesda or Ubisoft. So, yeah, and I don't want to spend the whole episode bashing cattle and crops, but it's really, I feel like that was the best opportunity to take a bite out of the Farming Simulator 17, Farming Simulator 19, the Farming Simulator franchise, realistic player demographic. I feel like cattle and crops was the best chance to take a big bite, and yeah, didn't work. Here's something fun. Go to their forums, say something bad about the game or mention Farm Simulator, and see how fast your comment gets moderated. And I think that more than anything else tells me that they are not ready to play in this space. I feel like you can't be that fragile, and you can't be that scared to talk about a product that you are obviously trying to compete with. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. It's like a boxer goes to a press conference and somebody mentions his opponent and they just get up and leave. You know, come on, you're going to fight the guy. You can't hear his name. You can't talk about him. Nobody's asking you to like divulge your whole strategy. Just talk about the guy. You know, how do you feel about him? You know, and typically the things that, using boxing as an example, typically the thing that a boxer will say is, you know, I have tremendous respect for this person, and I'm studying closely because I'm going to have to fight them, and they're very impressive, and I hope it's going to be a great fight, and can't wait. You know, that sort of thing. You don't just get up and walk away. So for the cattle and crops community to be so defensive about a product that isn't even done yet, I think, yeah, you guys, you're not ready for this. You're not ready for to compete in this world yet. And when I say this world, I mean gaming. I don't mean this world like this planet. I don't mean like that. It sounded a little too, you know what I mean? A little too harsh. Did not mean it like that. So I think, are we just going to get to the end of this row? 96%. I think our tank is going to be just about full when we get to the end of this row. Ooh, might even be, oh man. I would hate to not make it to the end of this row by like 50 feet. But I think, yeah, we're going to make it. Just barely. We're going to be at like 98 or 99%. Oh, that's fantastic. That is a full tank. That's as full can be. Beautiful. 99%. Oh, love it. Love it. Right. So we're going to lift the header. We're going to shut her down. And we're going to scoot back up to the top of this hill. And I think we've seen enough of Field 7. What do you say? So how about I finish off camera and we'll come back next week and do some grass work? Yeah, I think that works. Because I've got 4 more canola fields to harvest. Now, to be fair, 2 of them are pretty small. And what the hell's the difference? I think that all the time. You know, like I'll do something and I'll think, oh, you know, I have to harvest another canola field, and it's like, would it make any difference if it was wheat? What's the difference, man? It's just fake farming. It's the whole reason you're here, son, is to have a fake farm. Right. Pipe out. And what are you going in here? 63. I want to say our tipper holds about 18,000 liters. So yeah, we'll be able to dump 2 more full tippers into our silo. And I'll do the rest of this canola off camera. You want to do the same screenshot 3 weeks in a row? I ain't scared, man. I'll do it. There's your screenshot right there, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 17 from Coldborough Park Farm. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.